Rage 2 and Far Cry 5 are very similar, first-person open-world games set in a dystopian game world. The FPS mechanics are different. Far Cry 5 has a more complete system with stealth, carnage and a lot of different aspects. Rage 2 is more of a fast-paced FPS game where everyone is running around like headless chicken. Both games have their moments, but one thing they have in common is they are a ton of fun. Let's start with combat. Far Cry 5 gives a lot of options, which is why I think the Far Cry games are so replayable. And it's not like the game favors one kind of style over the other. If you want to go guns blazing, that style has enough depth to be very enjoyable. Same with stealth. The ability to have predators to be your ally can spice things up even more. The game also uses the different terrains really well, adding new dynamics to combat. Once you get somewhat skilled and learn to gel all these different mechanics together, combat becomes very satisfying. Ubisoft have not added anything significant to combat, but they had a great formula to begin with, and Far Cry 3 was the first Far Cry game that executed this formula really well, and they have stuck to that formula. When you just look at the gunplay mechanics, guns feel heavy and are responsive, and everything is fluid. The fluidity is what makes combat so satisfying. Enemies aren't as dumb as they were in previous games, but they still don't react and think like normal human beings. This is funny at first, but then it's extremely frustrating. Rage 2 is more one-dimensional when it comes to combat, but that's not a bad thing. If you're focused in on one thing and can do it really well, it's great, and Rage 2 really does that. Combat is smooth and fluid. This is true especially when it's played by a skilled player. Combat is also very brutal, so if you're the kind of player who loves gore, well, Rage 2 has loads of it. As I said earlier, the combat is fast paced, and players like me who enjoy more traditional, slower paced combat like most of the other open world games might feel it's too much at certain points. But adrenaline junkies will be filled with excitement for the most part. The different abilities you acquire throughout the game, like the double jump, complements the fast-paced action really well. The game gives the ability to ground and pound like Habib in its own over-the-top way. Rage 2 doesn't offer much other than combat, and combat suffers from being the center of attention almost for the entirety of your game time. No matter how good one aspect is, if it's overexposed, the satisfaction will diminish over time. For me, the combat was so good that I never felt like it was a chore, but I did notice that my excitement levels decreased slowly but surely. The Far Cry series has always managed to give us wonderful locations to explore, and for me, Far Cry 5 does the same. It has Hope County, a fictional location that is beautiful and has various diverse locations for you to explore. The diverse wildlife in itself is a joy to track down. As I've said countless times on my channel, I'm a huge animal lover, and Far Cry 5 gives you even more options to interact with these wonderful creatures than other open world games. Various side activities and missions are scattered around the map to keep you busy, and it can be engaging. It's no Wild West or the continent from The Witcher 3, but like any Ubisoft game, it has tons of things for you to do. Rage 2 is supposed to have a post-apocalyptic wasteland as its setting, and I would say it has done a great job in capturing the essence of a wasteland. You will get tired of exploring the map real quick. It's barren, has near nothing to do or see, it's just emptiness that you have to pass through to get to the next mission area. But the game does manage to capture the Mad Max feel, so for the first few hours you will feel like a savage running around. But this feeling is quickly replaced by emptiness. Far Cry games have declined in quality when it comes to villains, from Vaz to Pagan Min to Joseph Seed. They have stuck to that type of character here as well, but they haven't managed to capture the magic of Vaz or even Pagan Min to an extent. The story here isn't as strong either. You play as Walker and you must survive in the wasteland from mutants. Far Cry 5 and Rage 2 are very similar in that you are a sane person trying to navigate a dangerous place with dangerous people running around to hunt you down. Overall, I like Far Cry 5 better because it has a lot more diversity, but if you're the type of person who loves these wonderfully made FPS games like Doom and don't care much for exploration, you will love Rage 2 a whole lot. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel for more similar content and tell me what games do you want to see compared next.